2022 can be a big year for the protection of vulnerable human lives in Florida. From the first heartbeat to the last, every vulnerable life should be protected, and it's up to we the people to make that happen. That's why we're working on a constitutional amendment that protects the lives of people with heartbeats, including the preborn. This amendment ensures that all human beings have a right to life regardless of age, illness, or disability when there is a detectable heartbeat. Doesn't it just make sense that this should be in our Constitution? It can be, but only if you take action today. Right now, follow these 3 easy steps to become a heartbeat hero and protect your fellow Floridians. First, grab a petition partner packet. These packets have 20 petitions in them that you can get signed by anyone who's a registered Florida voter. Next, reach out to your friends and neighbors to get the petitions in your packet signed within 30 days. Once they're all signed, return the packet using the self-addressed envelope. It's that easy. 2022 can be a big year for the protection of vulnerable human lives, but only if you take action now. Become a heartbeat hero by getting 20 in 30. Get your 20 petitions signed in less than 30 days.
Hi, I'm Father Michael Orsi. I'm your host for Action for Life Television, that good news program, which brings you the big G for the gospel of Jesus Christ and the little g, all the good things that people do to put that gospel of life into action. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are in a very interesting time in a very, very interesting state, the state of Florida, because we are trying to get passed in Florida a Respect Human Life Amendment, Protect Human Life Amendment, also known as the Heartbeat Law, one similar to the law that has been passed in Texas. And we have a real pro with us today. His name is Mark Mink, and he's the chairman of Protect Human Life Florida. So he's going to tell us all about the legislative efforts that are being proposed for our state, but also he's going to tell us how we can help to get that legislation passed. We would have an amendment to the Constitution of Florida. And that's the direction that we have to go in, because the states, no matter what the outcome of Dodd is, with the Supreme Court reviewing the case this year, the bottom line is that the states are ultimately going to be responsible for their abortion laws. So, Mr. Mark Mink, tell us about what we are doing to promote this heartbeat legislation in Florida.
Well, first of all, thank you so much. I'm honored to be with you today and have the opportunity to share with your viewers about the Human Life Protection Amendment. And in its simplest explanation, the Human Life Protection Amendment is a citizen initiative to place a proposed amendment to the Florida Constitution on the 2022 ballot. So our objective, simply put, is that when Florida voters go to vote next fall, next November, in the general midterm election, we want them to see the Human Life Protection Amendment on the ballot so that Florida voters can approve it. And then, should 60% of Florida voters choose to approve the Human Life Protection Amendment, it will then add a new section under Article 1 of the Florida Constitution, which is where basic rights are listed. And so it's an important opportunity.
Can I ask you this? The Human Life Protection Amendment, that's the official term, correct? Okay.
Yes, sir. That's the ballot title of our initiative.
Now, this is the same as the heartbeat law.
Well, here's how it's different. When you look at the heartbeat law, you're looking at legislation that's been passed in a legislature. So, for example, in Texas, you've got the Texas heartbeat bill that was passed in their House and Senate and then signed by their governor. The challenge we're having in Florida, however, is that we have seen the failure of pro-life bills to make it through the legislative process. So, for example, in 2019, there was a fetal heartbeat bill that was filed in the Florida House and the Florida Senate that was never scheduled to be heard in committee. Now, Governor DeSantis, who was had just begun his term as governor, had made a pledge that he would sign a fetal heartbeat bill if it was placed on his desk. But unfortunately, in the state of Florida, we did not see that fetal heartbeat bill make it through the legislative process, so the governor never had a chance to sign it. So our initiative is circumventing the legislative process and taking it directly to the voters.
So this is like a referendum you're having.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is not going to go through the House or the Senate, but it's going to go right to the people, and then the people are going to make the decision. You know what? You're going to win because the people are pro-life. And you know what's interesting about this too? Folks, this is what I like about this. I like the term heartbeat bill because it's the heartbeat from the moment the heart begins to beat in the womb until the heart stops beating at the end of life. See, it's not just about abortion. It's about all of human life. And that's why we have to make sure that people understand how broad this is and that it's important. Whether or not you're a woman having a baby or a baby just wanting to be alive, or you're an old person like me and just, want to live out your life and wait till God calls without anybody intervening. Because, Mark, you can attest to this. There are people in our own state that are talking about physician-assisted suicide too, correct?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now tell us, how are you going to get this referendum on the ballot? We have to know, gang, I want you to pay attention to this because we need you to make sure that you sign the petitions and that this does get on the ballot. Please, Mark.
Well, first of all, I appreciate you pointing out to your viewers the importance of an initiative like this that not only would protect preborn children in the womb from that point of a detectable heartbeat, but that it expands through the rest of life to vulnerable human lives, whether it's the aged, the infirm, the disabled. And that's what makes this a very special opportunity that we have. So to get into a little bit of the mechanics, Florida is one of 26 states that has an opportunity that its citizens can engage in this type of initiative. So not every state can do this, but we have the opportunity in Florida. And the way that the process works is that we are circulating a petition that we have to turn in 891,589 to get validated. Now, our plan is to turn in 1 million plus. So our goal, our challenge to your viewers is to help us get as many petitions signed as fast as they can. And I'll get through some more of the details on that in a moment. But the way the process works is we turn those petitions in, signed by registered Florida voters, into each county supervisor of elections that we receive them from. Then those supervisors of elections, respectively in their counties, will validate them. And on February 1st of next year, the state of Florida Division of Elections will stop the clock. And should we qualify with 891,589 validated petitions, then we have an opportunity to qualify to be placed on the 2022 ballot. And that's what gives Florida voters the chance to vote for and to approve the Human Life Protection Amendment.
How many
There's some more to
citizens?
it, but I'll pause there.
How many citizens do we have in Florida? About 30 million? Where are we?
No, sir, we've got a little over 21 million citizens.
No, I think it'll be 30 million by next year.
Yes,
They're all leaving, New York and all those northern states and Midwestern states. They're all coming to Florida.
Yes, sir.
And,
yes,
so
sir, they're coming to Florida.
So it's going to be, folks, it's going to be 30 million. It's going to be 30 million, guaranteed. Okay, now that's
You're right. It's growing fast. And in Florida, there's more than 14 million registered voters. And so if you do the math, we only have to get about 1 million of those to sign a piece of paper, a petition that says that they want the Human Life Protection Amendment to be placed on the ballot. So when someone signs a petition, they're simply petitioning the Secretary of State of the state of Florida to place our proposed amendment on the ballot. They're not voting yes or no on it at this time. They're just placing it on the ballot.
Well, that sounds fair enough. Now, we have to be able to help Mark with this. He's going to tell us now how we can help to do this because it's our obligation as Christians, as believers. You don't have to be a Christian. You could be a good Jew, a good Muslim, a good atheist who recognizes, that's a baby. It's not a puppy. It's a baby. It's a baby. You know, we have in our own state, in our own county, as a matter of fact, laws protecting turtles. But they don't protect babies. Now, what are we going to do, folks? Mark is going to tell us what to do in order to make sure that this referendum proposal gets on the ballot in 2022. Yes.
Yes, sir. So what your viewers need to do is go to our website. It's heartbeathero.org. Heartbeathero.org. And once on that website, they'll be able to print out one of our petitions. It only takes a minute or two to complete it. A registered Florida voter simply needs to put their name in the petition. They will put their address that's associated with their voter registration. They'll put their date of birth or their voter registration number, and then they sign and date it, and they mail it back to us. That's the essence of it. But they can also print out extra petitions and have their friends and family and people in their network that are like-minded sign them. But also on the website, they can click on a link to find out where our hub sites are located, because we have hub sites all around the state of Florida that have these petition partner packets available. These packets have 20 blank petitions in them and have the return address printed on the envelope, so that someone can become a heartbeat hero by taking 20 petitions, whether they print them out from our website or whether they pick up a packet from one of our hub sites that are scattered all around the state. They get 20 registered voters to complete and sign the petition. They put them back in this envelope. They put a couple stamps on it and drop it back in the mail. And this is how we're going to multiply the effort. It's not just one person signing one petition. It's one person signing a petition and telling everybody they know about the initiative.
You know, the expression, you want to dispel the darkness? Light a candle. One candle begins to dispel the darkness. Christ is the light in the darkness. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is something that you could do something about. You heard Mark just saying that get the petition, you sign it, all right? There's one name already. You're on your way to the million, almost a million. Get your friends, your relatives, people that maybe you meet them in church and say, hey, you want to sign on to this petition? You know what? You're going to meet with a lot of success. People sometimes feel helpless, but this is not a situation that is hopeless. You can help change this state into a complete pro-life state, and to make sure that life is protected from conception until natural death. And as Mark said, even in between, you know, people are very anxious these days to excuse the expression to off people who they don't think are just as perfect as they think they should be.
Right.
We can't let that happen. So look, you got to get out there. You got to sign the petition. And you know, Mark, could you tell us what are you doing? I know you're doing programs like this, and you have things out online. Do you have some boots on the ground in different areas of Florida, talking with people, handing out literature? What are you guys doing?
Yes, sir, we do. This is truly a grassroots effort. These are citizens from all over the state of Florida. It has been such an honor over the last few years to travel the state, all over the state, and meet with people that we may not have otherwise met, from every walk of life, every age, every religious background, that cares about life, that wants to protect vulnerable human life. And so we have folks all over the state that are helping with the hub sites, that are helping distribute packets. We get emails and phone calls on a daily basis from people that want to help. And, you know, you mentioned something about light shining in the darkness, and it reminded me of a movie that I saw, and we've all seen this happen before, where there was a scene in the movie where someone lit a candle in a stadium, and everybody in the stadium had a candle, and one person lights a couple people's candle, and then it spreads and spreads and it spreads, and it takes a while to get started. But in a matter of minutes, the entire stadium, everybody's candle is lit. And that's the way that this is going to happen over the next few months, because what we really need is people to act with a sense of urgency. February 1st is the deadline that the state of Florida will stop the clock. But we really need people to get these petitions printed, signed, circulated, and sent back to us right away.
As you can imagine, producing this wonderful program, Action for Life, it costs a great deal of money. We're going to need your help. So if you would like to donate to keep this good news program on the air, please go to your computer, your cell phone, actionforlife.net. Thought for the day. A lot of people think that the religion is only for the next world. Well, it's very much for this world too. It has an impact on our daily lives. Make sure that you take time to know the candidates who are running for office and then to vote for those candidates who are pro-life. This in some ways is different. You said it's different from the Florida law. And
yes, sir.
We have people, some of our politicians right here in Florida saying, well, you know, we don't really agree with the Texas heartbeat law because we don't want neighbor reporting on neighbor. It makes us kind of uncomfortable. Is this part of anything that you're proposing?
No, sir. Our proposal is very different than the Texas proposal in that ours adds a new section to Article 1 of the Florida Constitution. So what it essentially does is it lays a foundation for the protection of vulnerable human life. And it may be helpful for your viewers to know a little history of the Florida Constitution. A lot of people don't know this, and I did not know until I started studying it. But the Constitution that our state is governed under currently was ratified in 1968, and it's the sixth Constitution that we've had in the state of Florida since 1838. So it dawned on me that since it was ratified in 1968, which was 5 years before Roe v. Wade was decided, it's certainly possible that that document is deficient in the area of the protection of preborn human life and potentially vulnerable human life in general. So it's an important opportunity to amend it through this process, but it's not like the Texas bill at all. It does not have a dynamic that has a citizen enforcement portion to it. It's very different from the Texas bill in that regard. Now, what's similar is you hear the Texas heartbeat bill referred to as the heartbeat bill. And because our proposed amendment protects life from detectable heartbeat, that's where you see the similarities. So people have started to coin our amendment, which is titled the Human Life Protection Amendment, as the heartbeat amendment. But there's some differences that are important to understand as well.
Okay. I'm going to ask you now a loaded question. Loaded.
Yes, sir.
From what you're telling me, it sounds like we don't need the politicians.
No, we need them to do what they've been elected to do, which is represent us. And the challenge when a solid pro-life bill is filed in the House and the Senate, what we need is for those bills to work their way through the process. They need to be scheduled to be heard in committee. They need to be voted on by committee members. They need to get to the House and Senate floor so that they can be debated by the full House and Senate, because that's why we elect our representatives, so that they will go and represent us.
What about your referendum? I mean, why do you need the politicians for the referendum if it's going to go right past them?
True, but it would be better if these bills had just gone through the process. The amendment process in Florida is there for citizens when they feel that their lawmakers are not addressing these issues. I call it legislative bypass surgery, We're going around the
Well,
block
that's what
voter.
I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, you're bypassing them.
Correct, but it's really not the best scenario for every issue to be dealt
No,
with.
not every issue. I mean, this issue. I was talking about this, not every issue.
Oh, yes, sir. Well, this is a very important opportunity.
Yeah.
And the legislature themselves could place a ballot initiative on the ballot and allow the voters the opportunity to weigh in at the general election. So that's an opportunity they have as well. But we've grown weary waiting for the solution on the issue of life to come out of Tallahassee. So that's why we're taking advantage of the opportunity that we have in Florida to propose an amendment through the citizen initiative
See,
process.
folks, I like this. I really like this. I mean, we have some wonderful politicians. They're pro-life. But, you know, there's like a lot of people in the state legislature, a lot of people in the Senate, and a lot of them purport, oh, I'm pro-life, I'm pro-life. But then you get but. And then you look at their record, and there are more buts than there is, pro-life. And that's why I'm very happy to hear this about the referendum, because, look, you're going to bypass a lot of weasels. I mean, that's a technical term. You know, it's us. It's the citizens. And as I said to you before, people know right from wrong. You have some big mouths out there. A lot of big mouths. They get a hold of the media, which is, you know, always leaning far left to the pro-choice, let's be honest, pro-abortion side. And the side of life doesn't always get the fair hearing. Let me tell you, I've been to the March for Life in Washington, D.C., like for a long, long time. There are thousands and thousands of pro-life people there. When you see it reported on the media, they focus in on about 10 people who are holding up signs, my body, my choice. They don't tell you about the 100,000 that are out there saying life begins at conception, life is precious, I'm pro-life. See, most people, they have common sense, and this is common sense. So we now have a solution. Mark, I like this more than ever talking to you. So, all right, tell us some more about, like, where are you right now? Do you have any idea of how many petitions are signed already? You know, how close are we? What's going on?
Well, first of all, we still got a long way to go. And last year, we lost almost 7 months of opportunity to collect petitions when the COVID shutdowns took place. So we've been playing catch up for that. At the same time, however, you mentioned human nature and people having common sense. People also have a little bit of a tendency to put things off until the end. You know what it's like when someone's going on vacation, they wait till a few days before to pack. People often wait till the last minute to do their Christmas shopping and things of that nature. So we're now reaching out to people to ask them to step up big time and get engaged. We've had tens and tens of thousands of petitions come in, but remember, we need hundreds of thousands. So having said that, we don't have a concern that they're out there. We know that there are easily 1 million plus people. There's probably 3 or 4 million people in the state of Florida that would sign our petition right now, today, and mail it in right away if they just knew about it. That's what makes what you're doing so important. You're making people aware of it, and we need them to take news of it and share it with their friends and their family via email, via text message, via word of mouth, any way they can spread the news on the opportunity that we have in front of us.
We have a fantastic viewing audience. Seriously, we have Southwest Florida. We have a huge audience on the Superstation touching Orlando and Daytona. This is going to travel like wildfire. And folks, go online. If you know how to go online, and you go over to Action for Life YouTube, and this show will be up. And what you should do then is view it with your friends and view it with any groups that you belong to. So let's talk about that. What groups, what organizations, what churches are helping you to get these petitions?
Oh, there's too many to number. I'll tell you, we've got ministerial associations, we've got churches, we've got individuals, there's pregnancy resource centers, there's conservative organizations, there's just so many. And so the key for your viewers is to be thinking what organizations are they aware of? What groups are they a part of? Where perhaps there's a group that has some sort of an email list that they could send news of this out. We don't ask organizations to provide us with their email list. That's not what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is get them to take it and spread the word. You mentioned spreading like a wildfire. That's the objective, is for this to just crisscross the state. Our objective is within the next couple of months that people are going, hey, I don't need to hear about this anymore. I've already heard about it. I've heard about it 10 times, right? That'll be success to us. What would be a failure is to miss the deadline, not qualify, and then for years have people telling us, oh, I never knew about it. If I had known about it, I would have engaged.
No, they're going to know about it. They're going to know about it because what we're going to do, as I said, the show is going to be up online, Action for Life YouTube, and then all you have to do to share it, you click the mouse, click the mouse, and it goes out to everybody that's on your mailing list. This can go all over the place. This is one of the finest the finest things I've ever heard of in a long time, this idea of the referendum. We're lucky to be here in Florida. You know what else we're lucky for? We got to get it done now, folks. You got this is something that, you know, we just can't turn our backs on. It's something that we have to do. Now, Mark, can you tell us what you think each person has to do on a personal level to get this done? You said, okay, sign the petition, go out and tell your friends, share this television program. What else?
Yeah, so we have a statement. It starts with 3 S's. It's sign, send, and share. So we need people to sign the petition, but then they've got to send it to us. A signed petition sitting on someone's kitchen table isn't doing vulnerable human lives in Florida any good. It has to be signed and then sent to us. And then we need people to share news of it far and wide. So that's the key, is multiplying the efforts. We're bringing the fish and the loaves. We need to see
ladies and gentlemen, you've heard this. We are going full speed ahead. Mark's for action, I'm for action, and I hope you are too. We would like to thank our generous sponsors for their wonderful support. Thanks for watching. Please join us next time for Action for Life. I'm for action, and I hope you are too. I'm Father Michael Orsi. I am your host for Action for Life Television, that good news program which talks about the gospel of Jesus Christ, the big G, and the little g, all the good things that people are doing to put the gospel of life into action. So please join us for the next episode of Action for Life.